go live in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
All right, everyone. We're ready for a bright, exciting show. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I mean, wow, I'm so excited. I just can't wait. I have my wonderful guest. And I forgot to mention, you guys, and all the things, she's actually a reverend or ordained minister and learned some wonderful facts that she went to Sedona studying. So I want to welcome Dr. Edwige. Am I saying it right now?
Edwige.
Edwige. Oh,
Edwige.
French. Edwige. I'm sorry. See, I'm messing up. So I'm just so excited. I mean, I got a wonderful chance to hear her by chance on a radio show. And I felt her wonderful energy. And I said, you know what? I'm going to research her. So I went and I did research. And then I said, she has to be on my show for the New Year's in December. This has got to happen. So I only seen like one video at the time. So I was like, can you send me some more? So after watching a multitude of her videos and listening to the different shows, because she has her own show, a radio show called Affirmative Living, which was phenomenal that I listened to. She had some just outstanding guests. So I was like, oh my gosh, someone that gets it. I'm not crazy. And guess what the title of her book is?
Yeah.
You're not crazy. And you always hear me say, you might think I'm crazy, but she has this book that says you're not crazy. So I'm so excited to have her on my show. So I want to welcome you. I mean, I'm just like, oh, wow. I have so many questions. My head is spinning. I just couldn't wait to get you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
happy to be here.
So I'm going to turn it up a little bit so everybody can hear you a little bit. Okay. And she'll tell me if it's too loud or not enough. So tell me, first of all, okay, where were you born at? Like, what was your life like? Like, explain there, so people can get a background of a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name Edwige comes from my father's side of the family. My father's from Martinique, or was from Martinique. He transitioned. And my mom's from Jamaica. I grew up in South Jersey, and the interesting thing about where I grew up, in the middle of the woods in South Jersey, minding my own business, and I was 12 years old when the visits started, as far as benevolent beings coming in, taking me out literally to the cosmos and showing me creation. And so, yeah, it's been quite the experience for sure.
See, I like that. See, I was born in Philadelphia, so that's so funny. And my mother was from North New Jersey, so we were neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like that. So this explained you came from a two-parent home. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you came from a broken home. Like a lot of people that make these discoveries, some of them are like from a one-parent home and it came out of necessity, out of damage or emotional trauma. Mm-hmm. But you are breaking the mold again, mm-hmm. and coming from a two-family home, which is phenomenal about your experience and being touched. So I want to talk because in your book, I want everybody to see this book, her book.
Let me know when to hold it up.
Hold it up.
Hold it up. There's my little, there it is. You're not crazy. You're awakening.
Right. So, and this explains so much because a lot of people are having symptoms and don't understand. Mm-hmm. And this book is a wonderful journey that you explain from beginning to end, and things that you've went through and witnesses, as well as some healing that has gone through for many years to get to where you are. And it just didn't happen like people think it happens overnight and thinking they're in. It was a transition, and you actually controlled some of this. So I really, like I said, when I picked up the book, it was like, okay, when I read it, I couldn't put it down. I was 70 pages in, and my daughter was like, Mom, you gotta go do something. So that's how engrossed this book was. And it was lessons. So it's not just a regular book, but you actually give key lessons for people to try and steps to try and to really, your book is an interactive book.
Yeah.
You have your book that you read, but you have a book that is interactive. Your book is an interactive book, and you ask the reading audience, to actually participate in this journey for themselves, not only for you, but but to see their enlightenment, which I really thank you for. I mean, this is the first book I found like that,
Wow.
that's really interactive,
Mhm.
that on their journey, the hope. So this is a really go-to book they need to see. So I'm going to say it again. You're not crazy. You're just awakening. You need to get this book. I don't, like certain books, but I really want you to get this book because it's going to help you transition, especially for 2015 and beyond. So this is a must read, must have. You need, also, she does consultations. I'm sorry. See, I'm like, can you see? I'm like, ooh. I was telling Sophia, I was so excited. I thought yesterday was today. I was like, I rushed. I rushed. That's how excited I am. I pushed the day forward just so I can be.
And now we're here.
Yes, I'm right here in the moment. So I'm so excited to have you
Thank you.
on here and really appreciate the work that you're doing, and you're getting the message out and helping others because you do workshops and conferences, and I see a lot of videos, and you're not just talking about you, but you're doing other light workers and bringing them in your fold and sharing and being loving. It's almost like the True Psychic Network. They're very loving and giving and helping one another. We support each other.
Absolutely.
And this is what's needed. So I want you to talk about what actually made you write this book.
Okay. So, wow, you said a lot. So let me backtrack. So the visits from these benevolent beings, actually, it was a being from the Council of 12 that started visiting me when I was 12 years old. And what he did for 6 years was take me out into the cosmos. I would fly amongst the stars, land on a bridge, dive into the depths of the ocean. And so they were actually showing me at that time that I was here to be a bridge between heaven and earth. And so I could see this being, I could see myself hovering above me as I'm laying there in bed. And so I actually came in with fourth dimensional consciousness with no karmic lessons in this lifetime, purely for the work that I'm now doing. So that's what sets it apart a little bit. And so, life happens and you go about your thing. And then in 2004, I was rear ended. And as I was rear ended, by a police officer, as I moved over to the shoulder and didn't see me in the shoulder, I went into the light. And as I went into the light, the angel said, "You are here to bring them into the light." And I basically came back and the awakening had started, because it's like that, right? And so from that moment, they started showing up literally every 10 days or so from about 2004 until my light they descended into me September of 2012. And so the process of awakening is what I journal in this book, and lessons that they taught me, because it wasn't just them coming in literally with still points of light and turning on my pineal gland. They would come in and touch me and bring me off world. They would come in another time and surround me and plug things in as they are moving me from carbon to crystalline, as they are raising my vibration, raising frequency, getting ready not only for my light body, but I actually hold the templates for 5D, 6D, and 7D, for all star seeds. It's the Lemurian seed. So that's what they were preparing me for. It's actually 54 templates, believe it or not. So it was a lot to get my physical body ready for. And when that body descended, it felt like someone plugged in an electrical current. It was about a 10-hour process of watching this light body move down slowly, slowly as it moved in. And so the book journals the experiences of moving through fear, moving through how do I, when something shows up in the middle of the night and you can see it with your eyes open and you can see it with your eyes closed, you tend to question what on earth is happening. And so even though, yes, they visited me when I was 12 years old, still as an adult, you're going to question certain things. And so that was the process of finding myself wondering what all of this is about. Because in the beginning, I didn't know I had the templates. In the beginning, I just knew I was awakening and I'm moving through this process. And so it was understanding step by step as I transmuted fear and then I went to the next step, right? And as I started to bring back soul fragments and understanding what soul fragments are, then I was able to go to the next step. And so really it's a guide taking you step by step so that you can be the open vessel, have your frequency raised high enough so that your light body, which is a multidimensional vehicle by which those higher aspects can all come together and be housed within you. So that's the process. Quite fascinating to say the least.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. So like I said, I was your book. You were talking about calcified pineal gland. Explain what calcified pineal gland for people that don't know if that's out there.
Okay, so your pineal is a tiny little gland about that big, literally, and it sits right smack dab in the center of your head. Your pineal is actually your antenna to the cosmos. It's how you will connect back to the creator. In fact, think about the Vatican and all of these spiritual pictures that have a pine cone on top of a staff or on top of a building. That pine cone represents the pineal. They know it's your antenna. So we now have chemicals like fluoride and chlorine and all the pesticides and all the chemicals in our food that those things calcify your pineal gland, meaning it makes it hard like a shell and it's not on. It has to be on, and it actually has to grow for you to be able to fully blossom and awaken. And so you have to calcify it. It's calcified just like any bone in your body. As you get old, it's brittle and calcifies. And so you have to decalcify it to wake it up so that you wake up and then you have your connection. And so, first thing, obviously, no more fluoride in your toothpaste, right? That's a toxic poison. Clean water, get away from chlorine. Clean water, alkaline water or spring water, a little apple cider vinegar in your water, lemon juice in your water, all sorts of things to detox. You are a living being, and so you want to put living food into you to help raise your vibration. It's all about raising your vibration so that you can be a vibrational match to the higher frequencies that want to come in. Your light body is a higher frequency, a lighter density. Your higher self, your soul, all of these aspects of you are higher frequency aspects that you have to raise up in vibration and meet them halfway. So that's the process of decalcifying and cleaning your system. And so I know you share that as a chef. You're all into being a vegetarian. You know, it's so funny. Back in, I want to say 2006, one morning I got up, I opened my refrigerator to make breakfast for my husband and myself, and an outside voice said, "No more meat." And I just looked, I'm like, oh, okay. I became a vegetarian. So it's about, if you're asking for guidance, pay attention when the guidance comes and then listen.
Right. I like that. See, and being a chef that I am, or food alchemist as they call me, I was thinking about that, and I was saying when you actually do raw, that in Hawaii, I felt the connection instantaneously. You're able to live in that energy with the food. You actually can feel the plants. I thought I was going nuts. And I read this book, Plants Are Living, and this guy did a study in 1971 and published this book about plants actually being alive and feeling the vibration and growing with the vibration in the home. That was like, okay, well, am I killing the plants? Then my mind went overboard, like, now I'm killing plants and they're giving their life to me. And then I had to remember my ancestors ate plants, but they gave thanks. And you give thanks to it. So that helped me feel, even though, you know, you're killing animals and you're giving, you know, they used to give thanks, but for the plants, we don't tendency to think to give thanks for them giving their life energy, because I see everything around us as energy beings. Absolutely. Or energy of substance. Yeah. And it has just energy, like a connection or frequency. That's, I said, so I give thanks to my plants. So I thought, I know people are like, this is so weird. She's walking out and saying thank you to the hibiscus plant.
Oh,
She's
absolutely. No, my bougainvillea and all my flowers, and I have tons of plants. I wish you could see how big my ZZ plant is right here. It's gigantic. I talk to my plants. I thank them for being so beautiful for me. When I eat a piece of fruit, literally, it's like this beautiful starburst hits my crown. I can feel the vibration and the frequency as it goes in, and it goes bing, and I feel it. And I'm like so thankful for it. And so it's about being in harmony and living in harmony with everything. Everything has creator source energy in it. And so we're to understand and respect all life.
right. See, I like that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And like I said, I'm preaching to the choir. So I just that helped a lot spiritually because I was, as you go raw, your frequency change. And I was like, wow, I can hear stuff, see stuff, and couldn't make sense. And then I called a friend of ours that actually produces the show. Her name is Sen Lu. She's in charge of the True Psychic Network. So I was talking to her, like, I'm seeing numbers, I'm seeing colors, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. I don't know what to do with this information. Now I can tell people what they need to eat, and I don't know what it is. Okay, well, we'll call it alchemy. So, because I wasn't given guidance. So, your book actually helped me transcend, as well as my daughter, when we talk about meditating. She's having problems, and the hour that you say to meditate, why is there the certain time like 4 and 5? Because I used to meditate. I used to be a Buddhist monk by President Ikeda, and when I chanted between 3 to 5, I felt like the gates were opening up. But in Buddhism, they would say only the high monks were really supposed to chant. We as members at that time were not supposed to chant. It felt like the universe was more open. This is just me, more open during that time, but that was the period when I could really get in there and feel the energy and feel the connection to the universe, if that makes sense, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. So here's what's going on. You have brain waves, and in the wee hours of the morning, and all of the visits back then, we usually were right around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You are in alpha brainwave at that time, and in alpha brainwave, all of your resistance is down, and your subconscious open to receiving new information, and your resistance is down, so you can connect a lot easier because there's no resistance. And the same goes true for right before you go to sleep at night, you're in theta brainwave, and that's another time when your resistance is down and your subconscious is open for suggestion. So if you're into chanting or you even do affirmations, it's a wonderful time to do them because the resistance is down and your subconscious will receive it a lot easier.
I like that. I like that. See, so it, like I said, everything you said in your book is just like, it was like on point for me. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it answers a lot of questions because, it's so interesting. We'll get a piece here and a piece there, and people try to make it seem like it's such a difficult thing, but it's really basic. God is simple. God is love. God only flows in one direction, and that's love. You are tapped in or you're not. So what you have to figure out is how you get tapped into it. Source is always constant and always love. Tapped into it. And so what's causing you to be not tapped in? Whether it be your blocks, right? Your subconscious, your programs, your vibration, your frequency, your thoughts, whatever, it's always about you. And we forget, and now we see these outside events taking place, and we believe that these outside events are causing stuff to happen to us, when in fact, internally, what we are vibrating to is causing these events to take place.
Right, right. And that's why I like the attraction that we're bringing to us, because your emotion, whether it's anger and fear, has a reaction, and the how do I put it? Has a reaction and causes a reaction from someone or around you. Like you explained about, you were angry about a tire, something as a tire.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking like that, like we can be good and all of this, throughout the day. And that one little emotion we need to fix, like, oh, darn it, like da 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 da. And that
Yeah.
anger, basically, we need to fill out, like filter out. We're always, as you say, constant in the love frequency.
Absolutely.
And that's something that was like, wow, people think I'm, naive because I say, oh, I forgive you and it's okay. And it's in a way, I'm not saying it's okay that they did that. I'm just saying that's where they're coming from and I have to love them. That's what I've learned because you got to love them for where they're at and not have expectation of
Hmm.
what you expect. And just, okay, I got to love you for where you're at. Okay, that's where you're at this moment. Okay, I'm going to love you there and not put strings. It's almost like putting what is it, a hook in someone. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I want to do that. So this has been a really smooth journey. And since I've made those changes, I'm seeing my life a lot better,
Hmm.
especially for 2015. So, and I can actually see a lot more. Like I am considered gifted, so that helps open up a little bit more. And if a lot of us were actually going to, you can't go through, I'm on live camera. I'm sorry. I'm on TV live. Thank you. I'm a little,
It is live. I do it,
right.
huh?
So people,
So,
I have two people here at the same time, and one little person just coming into the space. So
so back to love. The one thing about love, so everyone should understand, your listeners and watchers should understand that there are many degrees of love. In the American language, we have the word love, and it's supposed to define all different types of love. But it's actually Greek, and there's filial love, and there's agape love, and there's all different levels and kinds of love. And that's what we have to understand. The greatest spiritual love is agape love. And that's the love of your fellow man, regardless of what he does to you, right? It's the love of the Christed energy. And so I am love. And because I am the frequency of love, then I can love everyone regardless of what they do. I may not like you, I may not agree with what you've done, but I am love. And so that love emanates from me. It's the constant. So that's the type of love you're speaking to, is the agape love.
okay, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So my next question is: you do sessions with people,
Hmm.
and help them basically. Could you plug that back in? The computer's about to give out. Um, you speak to people about helping them actually open their heart chakra.
Hmm.
Could you explain that? Like, how did that come about? Because you said that was different. How you got your love to be unconditional, unstring attached, but how you help a client come into your session to do that.
Okay, so it's very interesting with all the visits that I've had over the years. One morning, literally, I lay there in bed and it looked like lightning came through the roof of my bedroom and went into my heart and shifted my heart. Well, when I woke up hours later or got out of bed hours later, I thought, oh, my chest hurts. What was that about? And I remembered, oh, that's right. This lightning went into my heart and shifted it. And from that moment, it was about being in my heart. And they also gave me a lesson. Can I share the lesson about the tire? Because that's so
Sure.
important.
Yes.
And so I used to own a store, a wellness center. And as I was parking in front of my store, I got a flat tire. And I let that flat tire annoy me. And I actually got into my store. I was able to go throughout my day. My husband came, changed the tire. I made my appointments. Everything was fine. And he was able to make his trip and go out of town. And so, again, 4 o'clock that morning, I'm laying in bed sleeping. And an outside voice says to me, disconnect from an uneven temper. And I jumped out of bed and I said, excuse me. And the voice said it again, disconnect from an uneven temper. So I sat up in bed and I said, oh, so that experience, that event that I had this morning, and I allowed it to agitate me. I shouldn't have done it that way. I understand. Nothing is to take you outside the space of your heart. And I said, is there anything else? I literally got up and had to write it down because I'm like, disconnect from temper. What does that mean? And I finally understood it. And I'm like, okay. And then they said, love is all there is. So nothing is to take you outside the space of your heart. And if it does, that's the illusion. And that's missing the mark. Everything is about being in the space of your heart and seeing everything from that space. And so you have to gauge yourself and allow yourself, if you get blown up from something, bring it right back in and move back into that space of your heart. And so actually in my sessions have morphed so much, even from the time my light body moved into me until now. And you heard me on the show recently. Literally now I'm a channel, and source moves in literally and takes over. And once, when my light body and the templates turned on, these 6-dimensional beings also move in. I guess they're higher aspects of me, and they've never incarnated their pure essence, and they spiral in, and all of a sudden this energy is moving through me, and I bring that person, I raise their frequency as my fingers are starting to pulse and vibrate now. So it may even happen for you, Ceci.
I already did.
Yes.
I've been feeling it before I even got on. I've been hot.
Okay. Yeah, it works. It turns on, it soars, it moves in, it turns on. And what happens? This beautiful golden energy comes from my heart and brings you into the sphere, and it raises your vibration and your frequency so that I can start to work on you, and they can come in and start to work. And so what's going to happen? Everything that no longer serves your best and highest good at every level of your existence in all time frames and dimensions, known and unknown, will be cleared. And so we start, and I will bring you in, and it's working on your entire body, and you'll feel things get kicked off and moved, and you'll jerk as it's making space and clearing. And then I consciously will start at your crown chakra, and then I will work. Every block comes up that's ready to be released. My whole body will start to shake, and it's gone. And then I hold it, and if there's more stuff ready to come up, it will shake and go. And then the beings come in, we calibrate, and then we balance that chakra. And I do it all the way down. And then when we get into your heart, whoa, we bring in your inner child. We bring in all those issues that you've had that have been running the show, because your subconscious runs the show. 90% of every experience you have is based on what's programmed in your subconscious. And so we have to get into your subconscious, to that inner child, and see what's running the show and those programs. And then we're able to bring them up and address it and clear it. And I move all around clearing things, whether it be past life issues or wherever those issues are, and then show you what you need to do to consciously move out of autopilot so that you can consciously start to create. And then if you're ready, I will open up your third eye, and it's like seeing a flutter, and it'll start to flutter as the third eye will open. I've had people, I mean, so many things happen, and it's different for everyone, but these are all the things that happen. I will even open up chakras below your feet and the chakra above your head if you're ready. And when I open the chakra below your feet, I connect you into the crystalline grid. And once you get connected, all of the stuff pours out. And then I bring in crystalline energy and start to balance, open everything up. Then I connect you up to the cosmos, and I bring that divine light energy down and bring it down. And now you feel that connection. Feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so powerful.
Right.
Light bodies will come in if they're ready. I actually will help facilitate bringing your light body, activate light bodies, because again, I hold 54 templates for the star seeds, right? And so it's really preparing you, clearing at every level of your existence to get you ready for your divine blueprint, your light body.
I like that. Now, reading your book, I think, to me, was an activation for me. So I'm feeling that. So that's why I said, I told my daughter, I said, we got to get the book. I'm going to send it to you because I want an autograph.
Okay.
So I do want that because I felt, as reading the book, I felt activated. I started doing the meditation, and like really different for me because I wanted to see different things because I was always like, well, I always tell people my word was when people annoy me, I say, you're acting like a humanoid. And couldn't and I've been saying this for about 3 years. And this is like before I went to Hawaii and my kids were acting, I was like, oh, you're acting like a humanoid. And my daughter was like, what? What did she say? Like, I was like, I
A
don't know.
lot.
I was like, she was like, well, in other words, she was explaining to my brother, her brother was like, we're not being very good. we're acting out because she's saying humanoid. And then she went somewhere and I was saying, I said, see, I said, you're putting on your humanoid behavior right now. This is not so not nice. And she goes, okay. And then there were people looking like, what is she mean humanoid? She's like, that's just my mother's terminology, because like I said, I'm thinking I'm losing it. So I just went on that. I said, okay, well, I want to see, talking to a friend. I have been on this journey for a while, and I was talking to a friend, and I was like, look, when I literally take a salt bath, um, my body, and I mean, it's not just a little bit of salt. I was putting 2 pounds, 4 pounds, 6 pounds, 10 pounds, and my body would feel totally different. That I had to have a lot of salt. And that I was just dunking my body. I was dunking my whole body and my face emerged underwater. And I would feel good. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to go with it. That I literally stayed in a tub. Now, when I went to Hawaii, the water was definitely different. When I got to the mainland and took a shower, it literally felt like the water was hurting my bones. And like I was zapped. And even here in Arizona, same thing. Literally zapped. Something about the water in the system they have here. So I said, okay, now you got a filter. And my daughter was like, Mom, now we got to get a filter system. I have a Kagan water machine. Always have, and I take
Me
that with me.
too. Love it.
So I'm not going anywhere without that sucker. But I was like, okay, something's going on with my body. Every time I get in the shower, my bones are really hurting. I was like, okay. Now I was like, okay, this makes sense about the water. It makes sense about the alkaline. Okay, now I need to get a filter system because on the mainland, they're allowed to have fluoride and chlorine and all this poison in the water. Where in
Yes.
Florida and Hawaii, you can't. My body loved it. And I was in the ocean practically every week. I was in the ocean and there having and loving the joy. So it helped my frequency and vibration rise up that I was like, okay, now that I'm here, it's totally different. So when I read the book, it was like, okay, this is answering a lot of questions. This is like, okay, this is
Yeah.
the point.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I really want to thank you because I was like, okay, where am I coming from? And I wanted to talk. I said, look, I need some help because I keep saying I'm a starling. I was like, okay, and was know that I was told that I was a co-creator. I had a past life regression done. He said, you're one of the co-creator. And I think that was the worst thing he could have told me that like 8 years ago because I was so disappointed in the earth and the world and the way it was going and the hatred and the anger people felt. I literally took that on and it made me ache because I didn't like what we were doing to each other. So now that I'm older and wiser, I don't feel so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you do talk about going to past life regression and actually having sessions. So what made you go to your past life regression for people, or would you suggest for them to go see it, or something that you can actually work with too?
Well, what's really interesting, you know, as these beings showed up, things were just happening automatically. And so we wound up doing past life. They took me to previous lifetimes. And I haven't had many lifetimes here on Earth. Most of my incarnations have been off world. And I can't go into all of those details,
Right.
but it's really deep stuff.
Right.
Really, really deep. A conversation to have off the camera.
Okay.
Extremely deep. Um, and so they just, you have traumatic experiences and sometimes previous as healers, as people start seeds with gifts, right? Um, We have trauma, and that trauma keeps us sometimes from stepping into our power. That trauma can keep us from opening completely our third eye, because if I awaken completely, they're going to kill me like they did in the past life. They're going to torture me like they did in the past life. So if I protect myself and I don't wake up fully, then I don't have to worry about it. And so we actually, and I'm able to not necessarily see all the details, but they'll show me a flash. Oh, this is a past life issue. And I'll get enough information about that past life where I'm able to address that past life, heal that trauma, and allow that fragment of you to move right back in. It's brilliant. As a matter of fact, I had a client today that we did exactly that. He had several soul fragments that were able to move back in. And it's amazing when those parts move back in, because you feel empowered, and instantly you feel more of yourself and you expand. So you
Now,
no longer have to play little, because, you know, so many pieces are now coming back in. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
I like that. So explain to some people what are soul fragments, because some people might not understand that are listening what are soul fragments.
Okay. So every time, okay, for example, you hurt your knee. You're a little boy and you stub your knee and you want to cry, and your dad says, "Don't cry, little boys don't cry."
Right.
That's an unexpressed emotion. That unexpressed emotion is going to go into your aura. It's going to go to the emotional plane of existence around you. Um, and if you don't know what your aura is, so here you are, the physical. Around me is my aura. My aura consists of the emotional plane, the mental plane, and the spiritual plane around me. Those planes around me, energetics, are with me every single lifetime. So I leave this physical body, those planes still exist, and my new body moves right in, and that same plane is around me. So from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, you have that same auric field or emotional plane, mental plane, spiritual plane around you. The emotional plane is that plane that carries, well, your karmic imprint, right? Because it's the
Right.
emotion. So say 10 lifetimes ago, someone shot you. That's traumatic. So that piece of you, a piece of your soul, is going to break away from that trauma and stay at that event. And you transition, born again, your aura comes back around you. But remember, we're eternal beings, so that trauma is still there. So that's a fragment. You fragment it off. Then something happens in another lifetime that is a traumatic experience. You drown, whatever happens. You're a healer and they kill you. They burn you at the stake saying you're a witch. Whatever it is, that's a traumatic experience that's going to cause your soul to break away. A little piece here, a little piece there, a little piece there. So we have to bring all those pieces back. And those are soul fragments. You fragment it off. And we're able to bring those pieces back. For example, in Lemuria, I survived the sinking of Lemuria. Um, and so in that journey of that soul retrieval, there I was packing and doing all sorts of things, right? Looking at the tide that's rising up, getting as many people into the boat as we possibly could. Again, I had to survive because I hold all the templates, the divine blueprints for man. And so I survived, but I felt guilty there because I could not save more people. And so before that fragment walked back in, I thought I had to save the world. And I would have a conversation with you and say, but don't you see, you got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get it. And when that part moves back in, I realized all I can do is be the best me. Be the example, raise my vibration and frequency, you will feel it, and it will resonate with you, right?
Right.
And then you ask, you read the book, you contact me for a session, you hear me on a show, and you feel it. And then I can assist and help you.
I like that. See, I like that. See, and you break that down in the book very well. Like I said, again, another reason why they need to get your book, and again, why they need to call you for a session because it's phenomenal. And you do Skype sessions or
Oh
telephone
gosh, yeah.
sessions?
Everything. As a matter of fact, um, I do pretty much all of my sessions on Skype or my conference line. I have clients literally as far as Tasmania. I had one from Tasmania today, um, and India, and all over the world. And energy is energy. So just like we're feeling it now, it connects and it's amazing. I don't really bring people into my personal space. It's my sanctuary. So all of the sessions and all of the work is through the computer.
Okay, that's well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So,
So my other thing is you do conferences as well. Like I've seen you go to different places, uh, countrywide. Do you have a tour coming up? I was looking for events and I didn't see anything at this present point.
I am working on putting everything together. I actually will be speaking at Conscious Con May 16th and 17th in Cincinnati, Ohio. Um,
Yeah.
Yes, so that's exciting. I'm going to be doing live workshops.
Oh,
Yeah, transformational live workshops. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. Of course, there are more telesummits. You know, they've been coming out of the woodwork with inviting me to do speaking engagements as far as telesummits are concerned, um, and just working on, um, you know, getting out there as far as more speaking engagements in the public. So if you want me to come to Arizona, arrange a group. I'll show up.
okay.
Yeah. Um, that's what 2015 is all about, getting out there because we have, and this is really important, we have stepped onto the new earth. The new earth is all about integrity. So here's what's going to happen. If you've done enough work and cleared enough things, you're going to spiral up and you're going to start to move into those fourth dimensional frequencies and you're going to start to do the work to prepare for your light body and so that you can move into fifth dimensional frequencies. And that's a wonderful place to be. I've actually seen all 12 levels of 5D.
Okay.
With my eyes open. I went to Mount Shasta and the walls came in, split the dimensions, and I was looking at the different dimensions as I walked through. Breathtaking, amazing. So you will either spiral up or you are stuck. Like I had a lady today who she knows she needs to end a relationship. And for some reason, she's like, she goes to end it and she can't. Then she goes to end it and she can't. She's looping around. It's like Groundhog's Day, living the same event over and over and over because you have not done enough work to clear to spiral up. So you're looping around. I hope you break that loop. But that loop is better than not acknowledging what's going on, doing the same old thing, staying stuck in your autopilot, and that's going to have you spiral down.
Yes.
Now, the earth, Mother Earth, is loving and wonderful, so she's going to give you whatever you're a match to.
Right.
So if you're spiraling up, you're going to find the world unfolding with more opportunities than you know what to do.
Right.
And it's like, can there be any more joy? Let me pinch myself because so many amazing opportunities, so many joyful experiences for me to experience. There aren't enough hours in the day for me to experience all the amazing stuff that's going on. That's the feeling of spiraling up. It's beautiful. And you're in that constant space of joy and ease. For all of life now comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. In that space, there's the constant gratitude and grace for the Creator. You feel your connection. That's absolutely wonderful. But that loop around gets you trapped because the divine Mother Earth is going to give you where you are. It's going to meet you and provide for you where you are vibrationally. And so that's why you have that loop of doing the same thing over and over. And again, the Mother being so divine, so loving, if you're spiraling down, it's going to be a quick spiral. That's why it's so important that we pay attention to our words because what you speak is going to go out and it's going to come back to you even faster because that buffer of time is no longer there. And so I teach people, and you know, I have a doctorate degree in metaphysics. I wrote my thesis on how to reprogram your subconscious. And I wrote my doctorate on religion. And so it's so important that we're able to get into our subconscious and change those programs, change those patterns, change your thought process because those words that you choose to use are going to go out and they're going to come back to you made manifest. And it's extremely important that now, as we're on the new earth, that we become much more mindful. Don't use words like no. Don't use words like can't. Certainly I can. Yes, I want to experience that. And if you find yourself using negative words, cancel out those words and reprogram, reprogram, reprogram. It's extremely important now.
Right. I like that because I was on a show, the 21st, and I said, and I didn't get it until my daughter pointed out to me. I said, wherever I go, I want everybody to prosper. Around me, I want everybody to prosper. What I forgot to say, I want us all to prosper. I didn't include myself. And I said this on radio, not thinking, and the person, people I had around me were prospering. And I was bringing them prosperity. And I was like, my daughter said, listen to what you said on the radio, Mom. And I said, what? She was like, you said, everybody, wherever I go, I want them to prosper. And you did not say, I want to prosper. You said, I want them to prosper wherever I go. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't
create it for yourself. And
Right.
so here's a wonderful mantra for you to start saying. I make 10 times more every day than I spend.
All right, I like that.
And so if you want to experience more wealth, right? And I actually work with that as well, because a lot of times it's about frequency. And so at your root chakra, I will raise your money frequency. And at the back of your heart, I will raise your wealth frequency. So your money frequency is your ability to make money.
Okay.
And your wealth frequency is your ability to hold on to it. And so I raise those frequencies when I do work, if that's something that person is desiring or needing of. But a wonderful thing about, again, being in alpha brainwaves, right? So first thing in the morning, say that affirmation that I just gave you, because you're more receptive and there's no resistance. As you're going to bed at night, say wealth, 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 wealth. Now it's going to go into your subconscious, and your subconscious is going to find a way to make it happen.
All right. I like that. Well, I got an opportunity yesterday too. Someone offered to buy my oral line of care that's I make face and mouthwash and everything that it's not bad, and wrinkles and pain oil. And I just happened to be on Skype talking to her. And it was just a little, because she told me 3 years ago, she said, you're going to be so famous. You're going to be on TV. You're this. And she's like, you need to get a publicist. And she was just so excited. I'm like, this is my first blog talk radio show. What is this woman? This woman is going crazy. And she was so excited. She was very enthusiastic. Like, we did after the, what is it? After we get offline, we were still online. And she's like, telling, Chris, I got to speak to her. You just got to let me speak to her. And I was like, she says, this is what I'm seeing. And I said, okay. I was like, I thank you so much. I received that. And then I did do a lot. I got a book out. A lot of stuff happened. And then, like I said, I got to go to Hawaii. I got to do a lot of different things. And for her to say, she says, I need you to write your business plan with everything. And I was told I'm supposed to invest in you. And I was like, I was just showing you what I have. Because automatically, if you have a cold, or if I see something, my reflex is, okay, well, you need to take this, and you do this, and you do this. It's automatic for me to go into that mode of, let me heal you, or let me help you. Let me tell you what you need to do. I can't turn it off.
Well, here one thing about that, though.
Okay.
You have to be very careful about that, because when we, as healers, offer advice before it's solicited, we can take on karma, theirs. So you always want to let them ask you.
Okay.
You can say, oh, that's really interesting, or however you word it, so that they know that they can ask you for assistance. And then you're not taking their stuff. You don't want to just offer, because then you're telling the universe, oh, okay, I'll fix it. Well, you take their karmic stuff.
No, thank you. I didn't know that. I really like that. So, but she offered me a deal. So I have a couple weeks to get this together. I was not expecting that.
Congratulations.
And I just, like I said, I see, like I told people, I even told Tiffany, she's so wonderful. She's White Sage Woman in the back. I said, I know 2015 is just going to be phenomenal. I know that I'm going to to travel. I don't know why, but it's just I felt comfortable around about November, December, and just I don't know. It's like everything is going to be right. Everything that you're doing, it's going to pay off. Everything is going to go smoothly. It might not be smoothly, but
It
it's
will
there.
smoothly. So cancel clear that thought
Cancel
and
clear.
create it as being smoothly, because 2014 was the year for preparation. 2015, as we step on the new earth, is the year for creation. And so all of the work that you did, all of the groundwork that you laid now will come to fruition, because that's what 2015 is all about.
Awesome.
It
Awesome. I
is.
like that. I
It
like
is.
that. So are you ever on the Living Conscious Expo circuit?
I have not been. No, I did New Earth Expo, and like I said, in May I'm going to be on Conscious Con. But I will go anywhere where they extend a lovely invite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I go to California a lot too.
Mhm.
So I'm going to talk to some friends. And then here in Arizona, I travel more out of Arizona than anything. I think this is the first time I've actually did any of my work in Arizona
Mm.
in so many years. I wrote my book and then I left. I wrote my book and then I left. So it is different. So I'm preparing and on my way to Belize. That's my end goal for 2015. So I'm going to see if there's something that we can do to get you there with us, because it's going to be a 10-day retreat and it's all about healing from December 1st to the 10th. And as I'm getting a group of women together, we're working on getting them in so they can heal for those 10 days of just doing a whole bunch of exercises. And I would like to offer what I am going to be offering, not like what I am going to be offering, something unique. I like unique and different things.
Mhm.
And the way I've visualized, they've put everybody in my path to make this run beautifully. And for the price, I mean, it was like beautiful. I talked to her, everybody just like on board, like, wow,
Mm.
now, okay.
Yes, and I've always desired to go to Belize, so hey, I'm there.
See, confirmation. All right, love it, love it, love it. So that has been, that's what I'm working on this year, is really getting the word out for people to come,
Mhm.
because I want them, the healing they're going to receive. And you there, I feel would just make it phenomenal, really phenomenal, a benefit. And just to be, and also we would be near the, we'll be in San Ignacio right now.
Yeah, about to say the pyramids.
Yes,
I knew that. Yeah.
right there, the Mayan pyramids. There's Bushmen. Uh-oh. Okay, you all right?
Yeah. The
Okay.
energy starting again.
Okay, sorry. The Bushmen, they're going to come with our group and work with us individually. So this, to me, is like
A no-brainer.
amazing.
A
Right,
no-brainer.
right. And the farm is there. We're going to be on a farm where we can actually pick our fruit and vegetables right there. So, and this man has never offered this to anyone to stay on there. He just said something just told him to do this for me. And my friend was like, why? I was like, I don't know. I said, it's time.
And
It's time.
the wonderful thing about that is the universe will put those people in place, and their spirit will speak to them, and they will be compelled to do, because it's what's supposed to happen. There are so many things that are supposed to happen to move us into the new earth and to bring heaven here on earth. Um, that those are just lining up.
Okay, I like that. So
Yeah.
I just said, okay, I'm ready. So
Hmm.
whatever the universe puts forth, I'm excited about. Like I said, your book just helped so much. I keep saying it because it has. It helped open up things that I wanted to see,
Hmm.
that I might want to call you later on and explain a little bit more in depth. That
Hmm.
was especially today before the show. It was like I was not expecting to do my meditation and what I seen. And you were talking about colors, and the color purple kept coming up, and then the color magenta, I want to call it, and then another color, and it was like stars. When I went out of my body, I was not just floating over I went straight out, and I was seeing the stars. was like, it's hard to explain, like past Earth, but I was seeing stars. I was somewhere else, exactly where I wanted to be. And I was like, okay, at first I kept seeing colors, and I said, okay, I'm seeing an orb. And I was like, I'm used to seeing orbs, but the orb was purple and it kept staying right, like standing there. I was like, okay, now do I say, uh, okay, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. I'm good with this because I started doing to look at the sun,
Mm.
and I started seeing things in the sun, and then I said, okay, I'm getting everybody to look in the sun, and I said, can you see what I see?
Yeah,
Because
isn't that amazing?
I want everybody to see what I see. Do you feel, or do you hear what I hear? Do you feel what I'm feeling? Because I don't want to feel by myself.
I feel it, hear it, see it. Oh, yes. I
So,
remember this one experience I had. It was so amazing. One morning I woke up and in front of my eyes, as I opened my eyes, literally was a gold tetrahedron,
mhm,
and next to it was uh, a Taurus field. The Taurus was purple, and superimposed on it was a red heart, and then there was a gold tetrahedron. The tetrahedron started to spin,
and
and as it spun, up I went out into the cosmos, and I flew. I mean, it was so fast. I
okay,
was not prepared for that. And I'm dangling in the stars. Now, I'm awake seeing this, and up I go. And I, all I could do was say, in the name of Jesus, bring me home. Because it was so fast. It was so unexpected. And I'm like, OMG. Yeah, it's the
okay,
stuff that happens.
right.
Yeah.
So, and you also prepare people that are really going too fast. You can help them acclimate to not as go as fast that it's out of control because they can transition or transmute too fast, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's about balance, you know. Um, and if you move, well, it's at your soul's pace. And so really, um, you know, you have to allow your soul to be the vehicle that's running the show in your higher self. And so you
Okay.
really have to acclimate into it. And you have to transmute fear. So much of this is the fear of the unknown, right? That's how they've controlled us for so long. We are so divine. We are so amazing. And we have so much potential.
Right.
So we just have to take it slow, allow those little steps, those baby steps, take it slow, and trust what's showing up.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. So I know that I'm going to make an appointment with you within the next week. I got to see what you have around about February because like I said, I know I'm going through some things, and I already knew I was transmuting, lightning, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing this for a while. See, I'm just one of those children that have been gifted for a very young age, and
Hmm.
people didn't understand. And like I said, I got to go to Hawaii and understand that me and electricity, I'm blowing out computers, cell phones,
Yeah,
you name
we have to
it.
talk off.
So
Yeah.
I did that and controlled water. There was a Hawaiian lady that came to me and watched me and became a good friend of mine that actually helped me a lot and just knew that she was like, you're just special. And that's all I'm going to say. But she knew I was special, but she helped me a lot actually come back to the mainland because I did not want to be in the United States. I always tell people, I'm going to New Zealand. I'm going this place. I'm going this place. And I said, I just don't feel like I fit in on a mainland. And that's what I told her. And that Hawaii was so comfortable and home.
I'll share with you why off.
Okay. Okay. So I said, no problem. But I come here and I'm adjusting. And that's what I'm saying. I am adjusting. I know this is not home for me. And I let people know that I know and I've seen my path. And I know that, and it's okay.
Mhm.
But
Absolutely.
I'm
And to
here
be
for,
okay, because the key to it is to be present in the moment.
yes.
So I don't have to think about what happened in the past. I don't even have to give a whole lot of thought to the future. The Christ energy is about being right here, right now. And so, right here, right now, ever present, I'm doing what I need to do in this moment. The next moment, I will take care of the next moment as the moments come.
Right.
Okay, that way there's not overwhelm. That way you are focused and you're aware and you're awakening every bit of you in this now moment. That has to happen because we have work to do in this moment. And this is the moment that will get you to the next and the next. As you clear, as you do the work to heal and clear and raise your vibration here and now, that's what's going to move you to the next step.
I like that. See, and I like that. I like moving to the next step, but I also like walking in the energy. Well, I like energy. I love positive energy, or what I can feel when a environment is loving, and I can feel the discontent. And when I walk in a room, if I feel people uncomfortable, my thing is to make people laugh. And I learned that New Year's Eve. Like, I walk in and I'm the new person, and I go in there and I'm sitting there and I'm laughing. And then the guy's like, you know, or the girl's like, oh, she has this funny little laugh. And I'm like, I said, do you know laughing is healing and loving? And another person, you know what, you're right. You know, so it became New Year's Eve, like, oh, wow, you know, they're watching me laugh. I was like, okay, I love being happy. And a lot of people know that that's my key of being happy and joyous. I am actually happy and joyous. Might not seem like it, you know, but I am happy and joyous. It's like, I'm grateful. That's how I put it. I'm in gratitude because each thing, it might not make me, I was not comfortable, but I learned from that uncomfortableness. Now I can walk in and own it and go, wow, this is what I learned from this lesson. Even though it was a little bit uncomfortable, now I'm out of my uncomfortableness. Now I know what's going to, you know, come. It's positivity and love.
And that's so important to get. Every experience that you have is a lesson. And if we would only look at it as the gift and stop looking at it in a negative way, but in a positive way, it would serve us. We get the lesson, we get the gift, and then we can move on to something new. And that's the whole thing. People are taking all of their stuff and they're staying in that story, and they want to tell the same story over and over and over. Get the gift of whatever that thing was and move on.
Yes. See, yes, you're right, because a lot of people don't, but they don't understand that. You know, how it's explained to me in psychology was that people tell the same thing over and think they're releasing. Like when you go to counseling, they said, oh, well, you know, they want you to tell. You're telling, but you're not, you're just saying it over, just repetitious, and you don't get beyond you just saying anything. It's like, okay, you haven't even reached, you're still on the surface. Like psychology, like, oh, well, tell me your problems. Like, why does it have to be a problem? How about what is a solution? And it's different how people counsel people. I'm learning too, because it's like, oh, well, you gotta, what is it? What was it the lady was saying? Well, when you learn a lesson, either you get beyond the lesson or you don't, and you stay stuck and you repeat the same story. And then another lady said, well, I'd rather not with it. If I'm learning a lesson, I don't have to deal with that person. But then it keeps showing back up in your life, and then you haven't gotten a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I was trying to, because that was my thing for parapsychology, dealing with psychology. I have a godmother that's a psychologist and a mother that's a social worker, and the way they think about things is like totally different. And I'm like, okay, especially because they're giving me advice how to counsel people.
So you see that everything that you're experiencing is based on what's in your subconscious, right? So 90% of everything you experience is based on a previous experience that's down in that subconscious. And our seeding takes place mostly from the ages of what, 2 to 7. So what you saw your parents do, how they interacted with each other, how they were loving or not loving, if they fought or didn't fight, if they argued over money or didn't, what they taught about religion, all of those things go into your subconscious, and now that's what's running the show. And so if you find yourself, okay, a woman who keeps picking the same kind of man that's not good for her, it's because what she learned as a child from her dad. And so that's the program running the show. And so, yeah, you actually have to go into the subconscious of that program and say, look at the perspective, let's expand it. It was you, the little girl, who saw it this way. The reality of it is it was this. So let's clear it energetically. We can clear it, you know, and let that go. Do you forgive them at every level of your existence? Yes. Do you love them? Yes. Okay, okay, now this is the truth of who you are. You are a divine being. You can have healthy relationships. Now give yourself permission to do so, to move forward. And so that's how you can clear what that old program is, and so that you can move past it and no longer tell that story.
I like that. Okay, so that's going to help a lot of people, and it helped me out a lot too between them two. But it was different. It was nice to have two perspectives, especially when they're so important. Like she's getting her psychology degree. So they've been key lessons because they're a lot older, and I'm totally different than them because I'm in the woo-woo world, as they call it.
They like to call it that. However, we're in the real world.
And it's okay with me. My mom knows I've been gifted. I've been seeing the dead since I was a little girl. So my mom knows I was always out there. I wanted to be Buddhist when I was 8 years old. I was telling her I'm going to be a Buddhist, and my mother's looking at me like, okay, where did you come from? I was like, Mom, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I'm going to just eat vegetables. And she's like, again, where did you come from? I was like, I'm going to make
the
baby.
stars.
Right.
Thank you.
She didn't understand. I had to understand how she was programmed. She didn't understand that because I'm this child that's coming in and saying, I'm going to eat vegetables. I'm going to be Buddhist. I'm going to live my life and I'm going to be happy. And I would forgive people no matter what they did to me. My mother was like looking at like, just hit you. I was like, they don't know any better. And my mother was like, oh, it would upset her more, but that was my concept. And I became the mediator in all of her family. But that's the only thing that I was prepared to do when I came in this body, this vessel. Absolutely. That's what I agreed to do.
Yeah.
So it was weird for her to understand if someone hits you, you hit them back and you hit them harder. To have that kind of, concept.
Mentality. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's okay. And now she looks at me. She says, okay, I like you when you chant. I can tell, she'll tell me like, okay, you've really changed and this, and she's trying to understand. She's trying to figure out, me. And she's like, she says, normally when people talk to people, she said, I would have to put you in the psych ward, but we no longer have a psych ward anymore. And I was like, maybe that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That was in the psych ward was actually didn't belong in a psych ward. It's just that you didn't understand. And my philosophy for children that have Down syndrome and other illnesses, they would say, is they're stuck between two worlds. Especially they're still out there in the other dimension, but they're in this body.
Absolutely. And even schizophrenia and all those things, think about it. We're multidimensional beings. So I'll give you an example. I remember one day when I realized how my multidimensionality was coming together. I had 3 separate thoughts all going on at the same time. I was literally praying out loud, and then I was having a separate thought, and then I started to observe that I was praying and having a separate thought. So understand that we're multidimensional beings. And so schizophrenia and these things, they're having all their past lives. We think of it, we've been programmed to think in linear time. Reality is it's all going on at the same time.
Right.
That's schizophrenia.
Awesome. Okay.
All those personalities, they're all real.
Right.
But they are not happening in linear time for them. They're all happening at the same time. They're multidimensional. They just don't know how to deal with it because the mind is so, 10% of the mind is awake,
right,
and utilized. And so that's not enough to be able to function with all of those selves.
Right. I like that. See, because I was saying about multi-personalities as well. They help their coping mechanisms, if you look at them. And they have a purpose. Each and every one has a purpose of them in their mind, the multi-personalities. Yeah. So these are things. See, my mom worked in a psych ward when I was a kid, and her boss was a psychiatrist, and her other boss was a psychologist. So when I was a little kid, I knew all about the pills and all the little stuff, and I would be, this little girl sitting there out there waiting for her mom to actually come out, and they would start talking to me, and then I started reading the physician's, I would think it's a physician's referral guide, and I would sit there and have this conversation, and the woman was like, the psychiatrist was like, how old are you? I was like, oh, I'm 9 years old, and she's looking at me like, you're 9 years old and I was like, okay, and why do they take this hard pill and they do this and why don't you go to nature like, you know, the Native Americans, and why don't you pick the plants? And she's sitting here like, okay, scratching her head. This 9-year-old is asking me, why don't we use things from nature?
Well, this 9-year-old's an old soul.
Okay.
When I was 12 years old, my sister used to get tonsillitis, my younger sister. And at 12, 11 or 12, I read Back to Eden. Um,
Yes.
and I told my mom, Mom, just take me to the co-op. That's where they have all the herbs. Don't worry, I have this. And she would take me. My mom's very supportive, right? And I would pick up all of these different herbs and I would get my cheesecloth and all my different things. And I'd come home and I would make a pot of my brew. And then I would make poultice and I would wrap her wrist with the cheesecloth and the poultice of the onion and different things. And I would feed her the cup of my tea. And
Right.
my sister outgrew, you never had to have her tonsils removed because I would heal it every single time she got it.
Wow. See, that's amazing. See, and I read
Yeah.
Dr. Eden's book when I was 9. So when I tell people that, they're looking at me like, what were you doing? I don't know. I was just guided to that book.
Old souls already come in with the knowing.
Okay. And I told my daughter, I believe she's an old soul and I can look at people, but they know, you know, you do know, you know, I was, what do they say? I was born with the veil. My daughter said me, but some called it the call over my face. And I'm finding out in my family that's hereditary. We're born with the call, the veil over our face.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my mom how I was born. It freaked my mom out.
Mm-hmm.
I told her exactly where everything that happened in a room and what was said. And my mom's just sat there like, okay, now this little girl is telling me she's talked to the dead and they come and visit her before they die. So all of this is going on that, you know, this is not, you know, normal for them. This is what they call hootie vootie. And then they's like, okay, but the more I grew up, I was like, okay, well, I just knew I stayed to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And just knew that that's just how I am. And now that I'm older, like nursing and all these things, my mom's like, you know, you knew what was going on before everybody. How? And I said, I just don't know how to answer that. My Nana raised me from the time I was born to 1975. She understood. And then I started doing some of the things as I got older as a grown woman, the way I keep my house, the way I speak, the way I cook, the herbs. All of this stuff, my Nana actually did, burning a certain candle. And it freaked my mom out that she dropped the class. And she was like, why did you pick that candle? I was like, I just felt led to pick this candle. I didn't tell her that I was speaking to my Nana at the time, which is her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told her later on when she got older, Nana has a message for you. And my mom just, oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It kind of freaked her out.
Mm-hmm.
But now my mom's like, okay, is she ready to come? She said she'll come to you when you're ready. When you're ready, she'll come to you. And my mother, now she accepts it like, okay.
Yeah, it's very normal. People don't understand that the deceased have only moved into 4D. You go into 4D when you sleep.
Right.
So it's not like they're that far.
Right. And I call on my Nana all the time. I can feel her. I know when she's around, and I know she's very protective of me. Mm-hmm. And she knew she was passing, transitioning, as I call it. I like to call transitioning.
Yeah.
I don't like dying. It's such an ugly word for me. Transitioning. She knew, and so did my husband. My husband knew, and my girlfriend knew. All of these people that have been connected with me knew, and basically gave me warnings before their passing, and the best what they could. Mm-hmm. So it's been a wonderful experience because I feel them and I know, and like I said, I can hear them. Mm-hmm. Whatever you know want to call it, I can hear them. And I made my husband my guardian. My husband, I told him, I was like, only way you're allowed to leave my side is when you find me somebody better. Until that time, I'm going to stay exactly how I am. And I'm happy because I learn a lot, and my husband was a lot older and he understood. Mm-hmm. And my Nana's there. And I asked for my Nana because to transition when he passed, to make sure that he was received very well in his transitioning, because I knew he would worry about me, call me kooky, but I knew he always worried about me.
Mhm.
And I knew that's how it was going to go. He was not going to leave. And it took him a while to transition. And finally, my nana let me know he's there. He's doing well. It's
Mhm.
like, wow, it was more traumatic for him, I think, than me, because I was hurt. I was in a car accident. I passed, and I was debating whether I should go back or not.
Mm.
So that's another thing. So
Yeah,
he
it's
he's
all
he's a
very interesting.
wonderful man that I got to meet. I don't think I would have met if it wasn't for me being the personality I am and being out there and trying
Mhm.
new things. So I was blessed. I was blessed to have a wonderful mate. So that's why I think it people are like, okay, he's just a wonderful man. My Nana's a wonderful person, and my family, and my children. That's why I think I'm able to be so lovable. It's because I had such wonderful experiences.
Of love, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And my children, I don't have any expectations. They call me weird. I love them for where they're at, and I support them
Mhm.
because I have older children. I have an 18-year-old and have, as of today, a 23-year-old. So, because today's her birthday. So I'm so excited that they accept me for who I am. All kinds of stuff is not normal, and that they're
It
wonderful.
is the new normal, and that's the thing. We don't even have to call ourselves not normal.
Okay.
What we are experiencing, who we are, this is real.
Right.
And everything that takes you outside the heart, everything that takes you into believing that you don't have these abilities, that you're less than, that's the illusion.
Right.
We are divine beings. We're spiritual beings. We're just having a physical experience. And
Right.
so being able to connect, my father transitioned, I was 18. He's visited me several times. Um, you know, that's the norm.
I like that. Well, I like that. I mean,
It's just
like
that we are so ingrained. And okay, so here's what's coming. The programming. People watch TV. They have all these preconceived ideas, and you have to understand that the powers that be that don't
right.
want you to awaken continue to shove programming in your face, making you think these things are crazy. You're not crazy. You are awakening, making you think that we're crazy, making you think that war is normal, making you think that the gas prices need to be high, making you think that food needs to be expensive if you want organic, making you think all of these things that are lies. But that's how they push the program, and that's how they keep you stuck in the matrix. It's about waking up, realizing that you are divine, that you are a spiritual being, and that you don't have to take any of those things.
I love that. Okay. Yes, awakening. So, okay, now let's talk about, because we didn't talk about your radio show. When is your radio show on? Actually, I seen it said every 2 weeks or so you do
Yeah.
it.
So it
And
airs. You have all the archives. So if you go to bbsradio.com/affirmations for living, you will see my page. And gosh, there's like 90 episodes there or more. I've been
wow,
doing
okay.
it for like 3 years. Yeah. Um,
Wow,
but
okay.
um, I do it every 2 weeks now because my schedule has gotten so full. And typically I have um, guests, but I'm also now being guided to not have guests and to share some of my work. I actually have a couple of programs that I'm introducing. They are 3 levels of 3-month programs. Activating and awakening your light body. So the first level is all about getting you off autopilot and moving into what consciousness is. The second level, starting to move through turning on DNA and moving you through forgiveness and different things like that. And the third level is actually activations and turning things on. So,
Uh-oh. Did we?
hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Just little glitch.
No
Go on.
problem. So my radio show is all about. It's called Affirmations for Living. It's about affirming a better way of living. It's about giving you tools and ideas. Sometimes I take live calls. People email me questions, and I'll answer those questions. And so it's about really helping everyone to awaken. And then also, I have a website that you can find. I have a couple of websites. One is affirmationsforliving.net, and the other website is DR.EDWIGE.com, and that's just DREDWIGE.com, where you can find all of my programs and you can find links to the show. So it's really easy to get to the show if you go to Dr. Edwige. I actually have a smart app, which makes life even easier. And it's
Okay.
called Awakened. And it's a free download, and that way you're updated with all sorts of things. And I send out affirmations, and you can see events, and you can connect into the show and different things there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
so
like
there's all
that.
sorts of ways to find me.
That's good because you're on YouTube.
Yep.
You're on Facebook. I don't know if you're on Google Plus, but
Yes.
yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Affirmations for Living is on Google Plus.
Affirmations of Living is on Google Plus because we want them to get as many places as possible because some people have Facebook, some people don't. Some people actually even use MySpace still, which I thought MySpace was gone.
Yeah.
Don't know. So you can be found anywhere. But the thing is that I like your Google and the stations that I heard and the people that you had on and the young lady that you were working with, that you did an event with, and then your conferences that with your book and your sign and your poster. So I was
Mhm.
like, these are amazing work. And then you were on Darius.
Yeah, You Wealth Revolution, that has been phenomenal. The group clearing was nothing short of just beautiful. Again, source comes in, so it doesn't matter how many people are there. And I'm pretty sure there were hundreds, if not thousands at the time. And everyone was feeling something. Everyone was getting cleared. Whatever they were ready to let go of was cleared. Um, and you notice how people were asking one-on-one questions. Well, when they asked the question, literally, it was channeled, the answer. My body jerked, source moved in, and the answer came. Yeah, pretty amazing. And so March 4th, I'm going to be on another telesummit, and I'm not quite sure the name of it. It's a new one, um, but I'll have a link to it on my events page at
Okay.
Dr. Edwige. And then March 26th, I'm on another telesummit where on these telesummits, you get to experience 15 minutes of some, energy work. Yeah.
Okay. See,
So
I mean, that's the stuff I'm talking about in your book. This your first book or your second book?
this is my first book, and by the way, it's available on Amazon. You can download it on Kindle, and it's also available at Barnes and Noble online. It's my first book, and it's so funny because I had no intentions of ever writing a book. So then I'm in a workshop in Sedona, and some strange woman walks up to me and said, "Are you writing it?" And I said, "What? No, I don't write." And she says, "Oh, they want you to know you're going to write." I'm like, "I don't think so." And then, like 6 months later, I was someplace else here. I live in Henderson, right outside Las Vegas. And I was at some event. And a lady walks up to me and says, "They want you to know you're loved. And are you writing yet?" And I'm like, "Who's they?" And no, I'm not. then, um, then I think it was 2010, 2000, somewhere back there. I'm on the phone with someone in Arizona. He channels Archangel Michael, and Archangel Michael comes in and says, "Are you writing?" And I'm like,
Very
3 times, "Hello." I said, "No, it is in your blueprint to write." And I said, "Write what?" "You will know." And then he also said, "And you will be coming in through the front door." I'm like, "What does that mean?" He said, "You will be known globally for who you are as a spiritual being. Coming in the back door means you're not going to pretend to be like a designer who just happens to be spiritual. You will be known worldwide for who you are as a spiritual being and healer." I'm like, "Okay." And so shortly thereafter, I said, "Okay, I'm supposed to be writing what?" And that's when they started showing up every 10 days. And literally a still point of light. Oh my gosh, I remember this experience. I'm laying in bed 4:13 so in the morning, and I'm awake by this bright, still point of light coming into my room. I open my eyes, I can see it. I close my eyes, I can see it. It gets to my face, it stops and turns to pictures. And I'm like, what on earth is this? 10 days later, an ultraviolet light comes in my room and it stops in front of my face. It turns to the pineal gland and I can see all these squiggly lines like electricity coming off of it, literally shooting off of this thing. And it's like this in my face, getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And it goes, poof, and I shut my eyes because the burn was so intense. Everything was open. And from that moment, I could see them when they came into my room. I closed my eyes and the colors would be like this, spiraling around. I close my eyes, there's colors. There's the ring that you can move through the ring to move in time. It's right there when I close my eyes. Then they started touching me. So that was the next. They would embrace me in the middle of the night. I'd open my eyes and see an orb leaving the room. They'd come in and sit on the bed. I'd open my eyes and there would be a being. I've been visited by ETs, by dimensional beings, and by angelics. All of those higher dimensional energies come in. The pure ones that are just essence, real high frequency, they don't take form, they just come in. And then the benevolent beings will come in and form. They've touched me, they've taken me to the Council of 12, where I stood before the Council of 12. Yeah, all sorts of amazing things. And so, pretty fascinating. It's intense, trust me, it's intense. Before my light body moved in, 6 beings, the dimensional ones that are in me working, they circled me and plugged something into me every hour on the hour. And very electrical. It's all frequency. It's all electrical. My fingers pulse and vibrate. Blue flames come off my fingertips. It's all electrical in its nature. And that's why you have to raise your frequency, raise your frequency, raise your frequency, or you would fry, because this physical carbon body would not be able to accept it. You have to go into crystalline energy and you have to raise your frequency to be able to move into your higher dimensions. It's just what it is. And they plugged in every hour on the hour. And I'm like, are you going to be here every hour? Am I sleeping at all? And you're like, no sleep tonight. And finally, when my light body moved in, it was the most profound experience. It lasted about 10 hours. But as I lay there pulsing and vibrating, like I do every night, watching the colors like I do every night, there was a still point of that bright white light that came in. And as it got about 10 feet above, I could see that it was the form of a body, and it moved in, and everything synced up as it moved in. Now, the funny thing is, I knew that I needed to stay home for about a month, right, and not leave my house as it integrated in. So my husband comes, and he's like, oh, let's go to the movies. You haven't been out in a while. So I'm like, okay, fine. And we step into the casino because right up the street from us, the movie theater, beautiful theaters inside a casino. So we step in, and as I step into that casino, this milky substance of a tunnel forms around me. And I said to my husband, do you see that? And he said, see what? I said, I'm walking in a tunnel. Do you? And he's like, no, I don't see it. I'm like, okay. I could see it. My eyes were open and I was literally walking in a tunnel. And he said, oh, so you shouldn't be out yet. I said, no, let's go. And we exited the nearest exit and out I came. Pretty amazing stuff. The experiences, even after my light body moving in with the templates turning on, it's the most profound experiences. If we to truly understand who we are, it's pretty phenomenal. And we get to return from whence we came. And we get to do it in these physical bodies. They get to raise up in frequency and vibration. It's just beyond amazing.
I like it. It's beyond, beyond, beyond.
And I've been there, beyond. That's an amazing place. And they welcome you in. It's like, oh, hi, I'm home. Yeah.
It's a joy. And that's the thing. Some of us that actually cross over and say, do I really want to come back and deal with these people?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I was. Do I really want to come back and be with these people? So I do have a question for you. Do you know about what people that are born in Dharma? Have you heard of anybody being born into Dharma?
Explain more, please, because I'm not quite sure of the question.
Okay, like there are some people that said they have karma, and then it's like, no, you don't have any karma. All your karmic debt is paid. Now you're in dharma.
Okay, so earlier I said I came in with no karma
So you were born with dharma.
and fourth dimensional consciousness. Basically, here to do this work to raise people up. So life has been wonderful with no life lessons. Life has just both parents, loving parents, went to private schools, had a pool in the backyard, taken care of, right?
Right.
My only and first husband. Okay, so, and then my dream was to sing, and I performed all over singing from Madison Square Garden to the '98 Super Bowl. Got to live all my dreams doing what I love to do. Um, no drama in my life. 39, met my husband, got married for my 40th birthday, my first husband. No baggage.
Okay.
So
Awesome. Okay,
that
that's
answers it.
okay. That's what it is, dharma. Because someone was saying, no karma, and then your dharma, and I was just wondering about that. Because it was like sometimes you take on other uh, life soul beings karma. You agree to go and take on your soul's group karma out of all your soul group. So I was like, okay. Oh, well, this was happening during a ceremony that was going on for me. So it was a Native American ceremony. So that's what I was like, okay, I never understood what that means. She was like, you did your page of karmatic debt. Now you're doing in Dharma and you're taking on your soul's group.
Your soul's group. Yeah.
And you're dealing with their stuff. And I was like, I'm not
doing that. So yeah, I don't have to take on anyone else's no soul group.
What the heck? Something's going on. What in the world? Now I'm
commercial. And now for your commercial break.
I'm like, what is going on? I guess this is like, it's going crazy. No, it's not going crazy. It's just weird. It's like I've never do this.
Well,
but
here's the thing. Yeah, I was going to say there's two of us on the call that are extremely high in frequency and energy.
Wow. Yes.
And anything can happen. She was saying, I used to pick up light bulbs and they'd blow. I fried computers, hard drives, batteries in my car. It's all normal. It's what happens, and it's okay.
I'm learning. Like I said, that was new to me a couple of years ago because I was on a radio show just playing around doing readings, and I shut down our block when I was doing the radio, and that wasn't my intention. It was only on our block on the other side, and everything, my whole computer, everything was shut down, and I got in a car, my handy dandy truck, and I couldn't start the truck. So I was like, okay, in Arizona, mind you, it's hot, it's 122 degrees, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna call on my cell phone, call back into the radio show and explain her like, oh, we can't get our guests and all of that stuff. I was like, okay, this is just weird. I just thought it was funny. I was like, you know what, I don't know what's going on, but I'm calling back in, and I proceed to do my readings, and then I came back in, and then as I came back in and hung up the phone, all the electricity goes back on. I was like, what in the world was that?
Yeah,
I didn't understand that, but I've been I said, electricity, we've been having some issues, and then I read someone else that was telling me that he can't wear a watch, and told me, I said, you know what, I never had an inkling to wear a watch because it stopped. Yeah. And he said, you're not supposed to wear a watch.
And I'll tell you why. I haven't worn a watch in probably 12 years because that represents linear time, and that's a program.
Okay. I just told him I don't know why. I just said
that's why, because you're not.
Okay.
You're not,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So yes, I definitely. Wow. We did a wonderful show. I definitely would like to have you back, and what I would like to do is see if we can get you to actually do a conference. That's something I'll talk to you offline, because it's been phenomenal. We're actually at an hour and 33 minutes. No wonder. We've been online and then some, and she was so gracious to come in and actually give us additional 15 minutes more, so which I really appreciate that. So you're just actually helping me line up the people that are supposed to be in my life. You're playing a major part. I'm seeing the connection with the people, and it all has to do with the next dimension. And it's like, I'm just so honored that, just spirit, just, and listening to spirit is what told me to call you. Like, I was like, oh, well, here my dad, oh, I don't know if she's going to do it. And when I got the response, I was so excited. Then I got the response from the other gentleman. You should have seen me jumping up and down on my couch, like, I was like, I listened because I didn't. It's like, okay, well, who am I? I'm not. I at that time I was like, well, I don't think I'm that well known, and I'm going to just ask this person that is like that. That was my train of thought, and then I thought about it. I was like, okay, she says no, she says no, she says yes, it says yes, and then they said we will pick everybody that's supposed to be in your path. Everybody that's supposed to be will accept everyone, and we will guide you. And I said,
that's such an important thing. I don't even know if I mentioned that in the book. Remember, I said it's like being on the yellow brick road. And all you have to do is stand there and trust. And your guides, the universe, will bring everything to you. And you just have to listen, and you have to look for those signs of synchronicity. And that's your sign. Oh, okay. And so it's about, I'm on these big teleseminars. Okay, so what? Because we have to listen to that inside voice.
okay.
It's not about ego. It's not about any of that. It's about being of service. That's what it's about.
You just made my daughter smile.
Yay.
With those words, because you said it's not about ego, it's about being of service. And that is a big thing for a young person to hear, because she's finding out in this field there's a lot of egos. And I'm telling her that it's trusting. It's not, it's unifying people of service. So you've made her day when you just said it's not about ego, it's about service. So I thank you personally thank you for that, so she can actually hear it from another person besides myself.
Absolutely.
Because I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but trust me, but to hear it from someone else, it makes a difference. I said you trust me. She's giving me like, Mom.
Is this the birthday girl?
Yes.
Okay, we can go out with me singing happy birthday to her. Come on, I'll sing happy birthday to you. I used to, as a matter of fact, I used to sing at the Motown Cafe.
Okay, she's here. Come, I want you to come here, please.
She doesn't want to be on camera.
I know she likes to work behind the camera and all this other stuff. Say hi, Doctor. Hi.
Hello. Okay. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my gosh. That was awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, wow. Oh, 23. What is the number? Five. Okay. I'm thinking like I'm a number 8. So I'm looking at people at 8. Are you a chance?
My birthday's the 13th, April 13th. So yeah, it's an 8, I do believe. April 13th, 62 comes down to an 8.
62. Mm-hmm. You're an 8. It's your year. Okay, there are people. Oh, yes. Okay. I get it. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm too happy. My daughter's like, I'm too happy. It's like, oh, wow. I'll tell you later. It's just eights. That was the lady that I was speaking to.
Destiny is being fulfilled.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay.
That's what it's all about. And I'm in the midst of my destiny being fulfilled.
Oh, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know Miss Tiffany's still there, and I thank you. And I just thank you all over again for being so wonderful and going over time with us and saying that wonderful happy birthday to my baby girl. So I'm excited about that. And she has such a beautiful voice. So thank you. I really appreciate that. So I look forward to talking with you at another time and setting it up. So I need to know, this is for off camera. Are you available for me to book an appointment off a camera, or do you have another appointment?
No, I'm available.
Okay, so I'll call, wait a minute. Uh, I'll call, can I Skype you or?
Yeah, let's just talk after this.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your favorite food alchemist. It's been the Food Alchemy Show. I've had my guests. This is so wonderful. And I want you to go out and get her book. Show your book. Show your book.
Okay. You're not crazy. You're awakening.
Yes. And you can find her on YouTube. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on Google Plus under Affirmation Living.
Affirmations for Living.
Affirmation for Living. And you can find her on BBS on the radio station. You can go back to archives. She said she has 9 episodes. I've listened to 5. I was trying to listen to a whole bunch of them within a day.
Overwhelm.
Right. It's so informative. I mean, it was really helpful.
That's the key. That's the key.
So,
yeah.
And so it's not a waste of your time. And the book, like I said, when you pick it up, this is just me saying this. This is not her saying this. You feel a connection and you begin to get connected and wired. It's something in that book that is interactive in that book. It's almost like receiving Reiki, and you're actually transmuting energy for the person that's picking this book up.
Yes.
So that's how interactive it was for me. So if it's interactive like me, I'm assuming it's going to be interactive like that for everybody that is going to tune into something in yourself. So everyone, this is a must-have, must. And you know, guys, I don't say must 3 times. So you must get this book for yourself more than anything. You really need to have this book in your home because it's going to explain a lot of the changes of 2015 and beyond and some of the things of your past and how to heal. So you go out and get this book. I don't wish everybody what I love to say: love, light, life, longevity, and much prosperity to you and all. And this again is your favorite food alchemist. And would you like to say anything before we leave?
Much prosperity to all of us.
Prosperity to all of us.
To all of us.
Yeah, to all of us.
Blessings. Take care. Thank you. And be love.
I like that. All right. So, okay. And we are gone, I think.
Thank you for using Blog Talk
Yeah, she
Radio.
cut it off. She cut it off.